Welcome to Thursday Thoughts. A little bit late, but here we are. Had a few things on my mind, starting off with races, and I'm worried fall or downwind fall races are going to become pump races unless the conditions are really big. And a way to prevent that, I think, is two ways. One is starting the race in flat conditions and finishing it in flat conditions, kind of like Molokai to Oahu, because that means in the middle you're going to be overfoiled, which means you can't pump faster than the energy that there is. If you look at other races where it starts in the wind line, finishes in the wind line, especially if it's light, you can get up on a smaller fall, then the conditions allow you to go. So basically you can get faster than the conditions, which means you're just going to have to be pumping more, which to me isn't that fun, but maybe that's just the future of it. It's going to become physical at some point. But by having a flat start and a flat finish, you can, minimise or prevent that. That was the first one. The second one is surf foil racing, and there's been the surf racing league or surf foil racing league in the east coast of the US. But I think this has got more to grow, and I think man-on-man heats, starting in the surf, point break would be perfect. Somewhere like Watergoes would be sick. And you put like 2 or 3 markers and you have to weave in and out. So left turn, left turn, or the other way around, right turn, left turn. And that'd be sick. Imagine having man-on-man heats. You start on the same wave and you maybe do 2 or 3 different versions, like sort of best of 3 kind of thing. So you rock, paper, scissors, who gets the inside, and then you decide on the same wave, you go, do the turn, and then have a finishing gate in deep water. I think that'd be pretty cool. And it'd be interesting to see whether a fast foil or a slower foil would work, because if there was sets, you probably want the small foil. If there wasn't sets and it was flat, you want a bigger foil. I think that'd be a pretty cool way to sort of keep the fun of racing. And obviously you could make it longer by doing more laps. You can make it shorter, but it's going down the point, different levels. Be pretty cool, I think. Then there's a surf foiling altogether, and that hasn't really taken off for whatever reason. But I think surf foil events are going to become a thing, and basically I think you take off, you get priority on that wave, but pumping back out, the person that is taking off should get priority. In the event we did up at Plummer, what's it called, the East Coast Foil Fest, Froth Fest, you could use one. If you lifted your hand up, you had priority for that one wave. So if you're pumping back out and there's a set coming, and you want to use your priority, you could literally put your hand up and you'd have that set wave, which is a cool way to go about it, but I think probably hard to judge. Maybe not. That was more of a fun event anyway. What else? We've got our release of code stuff happening tomorrow. I won't say too much else about that. There's plenty of content coming on that. Did the 20 beaches a couple of weekends ago, but I haven't done Thursday Thoughts since. And that was a bumpy start. Wind went cross-shore, headwind basically, it was onshore, or east-northeast, started east-southeast, just Perth, and I finished. And it was just hard because you needed a fast foil to stick with the swells, too slow foil, you couldn't do that, and then too slow foil was hard to pump out into the wind. So foil racing's coming along. Last year I did the same event in probably worse conditions, and I was the only one that rocked up to the start line. A few people had registered, but it was deemed not possible. This year we had 7 people rock up to the start line. More would have joined if it was better conditions, but it was actually worse conditions than last year. And 2 of us finished, which is double, twice as good as last year. 5 came in early, but they all sort of got themselves in, which was good. It's a tricky one with racing at the moment because we're at a point where we need conditions to be pretty good for most people to do it. But as we see skills get better, we're probably going to be able to go out in more and more types of conditions. So we're not relying on those 15 knot downwind days. We can probably go out in 5 to 10 knot downwind days and still, not make ourselves a nuisance for race organisers. But really we need our own races, and with a waiting period ideally, rather than tagging along to ski events or SUP events. Foildrive, had tried the Foildrive Gen2 this week. Some crazy conditions. Definitely works better for sort of downwind and small waves, but did manage to get out in some big waves, and it was doable, but I have to make a few tweaks. I think mainly longer board was the thing I needed, because I was having to chip in on the inside and then pump back out, or I couldn't pump because the foil was too small, but e-foil until a set came, which obviously was very taxing to the battery, so I had to use the bigger battery, which meant performance wasn't quite as good when on the wave. But look, it was a pretty sick session, and I was stoked that I didn't get whipped into one wave the entire time, and it was always get my chip in, e-foiling, saw a set, e-foil onto the set, pop up onto foil, and then foil like you would normally, just with a little bit extra weight. But that was cool. Sometimes the weight can be good too, right? But yeah, that's... then finally, WA Race Week coming up next week, and then Merimbula. So WA Race Week's going to be fun. Hopefully conditions line up for us and there's not too much seaweed. But I know there's a good sized crew heading over, Aussie crew that are going over there. I know the WA crew have been enjoying some great conditions. Hopefully they saved some for us for the Thursday Sunset Surf Ski Series, and then the Saturday's West Coast Downwinder. They're the two races that I think a lot of people are going to be entering, which should be fun. And then Merimbula after that, Merimbula to finish off the year, which should be a good one. It sounds like a few people can't make it for the entire time like last year, but a few of my mates anyway. But I think it's still going to be a super fun event. Code Falls are going to have a tent down there for demos, so definitely if you're looking to try the code stuff, check that out. But otherwise, that's Thursday thoughts for this week and last week, and probably the week before. Try and make it more regular, got into this busy sort of time. But yeah, thanks crew, and also haven't forgotten about it. Foildrive course is coming. Waiting on the footage from the other day to sort of update it, make it fully a complete sort of package. But some good skills I learned the last few days with the Gen 2. I'm going to pass them on to you in the Foildrive Coach Casey Club course. Thanks guys. Till next week.